Alright, what is up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about one of the gangs in Cyberpunk 2077. This game is right around the corner. I'm getting pretty hype about it, so I figured I'd look into some of the lore just to, familiarize myself with it. I will have the gang trailer playing in the background, but the Moxes, also known as the Lizzies, is what they used to be referred to back in the old promotional material. Anyway, quote from unknown: "Tiger claws killed one girl too many, so people took matters into their own hands." ... That is from the trailer. Overview of this gang. The Moxes are a gang in Night City. One of their emblems is Moxes, written in calligraphy. Formed in 2076 after the death of Elizabeth Lizzie Borden, a strip club owner and ex-prostitute who treated her workers fairly and defended them from violent clients. The Moxes refer to themselves as those who protect working girls and guys from violence and abuse. They are based in Lizzie's bar and rarely venture outside the district. They run several Braindance stations at their headquarters. Now they have about 200 to 250 members, so they're one of the smaller gangs. But it says the Moxes are relatively small, non-territorial, and consist of mostly sex workers, anarchists, punks, and sexual minorities. Formed in 2067 in the interest of mutual self-defense purposes, their name comes from the old slang term Moxie, denoting their determination to stand up against their oppressors. The Moxies like to wear outfits that are a mix of the punk aesthetic and the inexpensive fashion worn typically by prostitutes. However, they usually do not wear clothes that would restrain their movements in any way, leaving them looking more like gangers than your typical sex workers. Some members, especially those who focus on combat, have heavily modified bodies that sometimes evoke a plastic doll style, but may also be disguised with real skin. One of their gang symbols is a labrys, a double-headed axe, displayed on their walls, clothes, tattoos, or jewelry. Here's a quote from an unknown Mox member. "Folk went ballistic. Girls, pimps, outcasts, the whole freak show. It's how the Mox got started." The Moxes formed during the riots that occurred after the death of Elizabeth Lizzie Borden, a well-known strip club owner and former prostitute who was fair when treating her workers and even defended them from violent clients. In 2076, one of Lizzie's girls was brutally raped and murdered by Tiger Claw gangers. Lizzie avenged her by killing 3 of the assailants with an axe and displaying their bodies in front of her club, proclaiming that the same would happen to anyone else who hurt a prostitute. That night, Tiger Claws raided and demolished her bar before killing Elizabeth. These actions created an uproar that the Tigers could not have foreseen. Lizzie's death set off a wave of protracted riots all over Night City, and Tiger Claws members and businesses became the main targets of the violence. Those events cemented Elizabeth Borden as a symbol of defiance against gangers, lawlessness, and brutality. Her ideology successors commemorated her by rebuilding her place, naming it Lizzie's Bar, and forming a gang that brought together those who felt threatened and oppressed, especially among sex workers and sexual minorities. The Moxes do not have strict hierarchy. Nevertheless, they are a gang, and regardless of the fact that its members refer to themselves as those who protect working girls and guys from violence and abuse, they demand a substantial fee from their charges. They also run several smaller brothels where they profit from prostitution, so they are far from being saints. Some of their sources of income. Most of the Moxes' income is generated by Lizzie's Bar, which is now an exclusive Braindance club. They do not control any contiguous portion of Night City, focusing instead on protecting their facilities, members, and sex workers who operate in the vicinity of Lizzie's Bar. As long as they are left to their business, they do not actively seek confrontation with other gangs, although have tense relations with the Tiger Claws, who continue to test their patience and combat capabilities. So that's a little backstory on the Moxies. They're kind of like the sexy girl gang, prostitution. It'd be pretty interesting to see them in action, and especially since they're one of the smaller gangs, how they get along with the other gangs, because they're clearly outnumbered. But that's the only gang we're going to talk about today. I will be talking about the other 7 gangs, so if you guys want to come back and hear about those and see some Cyberpunk 2077 gameplay next week when it drops. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one.